Hi, this is Chris at Games Gazette Online, and I'm looking at Arkenshield, a game that will soon be kickstarting, and one you should have a quick look at. You'll notice it's subtitled The Gates of Thyan, which is the city in which the game is set. It's a deck building game, and it's for 1 to 4 players. Most of these components you can see up here are for the 1-player game, and some of them are for when you get the expansions, or possibly going to be some of the stretch goals. Right, very quickly then, each player has their own playing board. This board you can see in front of me here. It's quite a long board. A full set of players' components fits neatly into a bag, including the cards and everything one player needs and to play. Although it's slightly different if you're playing the 1-player variant, which I haven't played and I'm not going to talk about much today, except to tell you that it's available. Right, these are strength counters, influence counters, and experience counters. These you'll need to spend in various ways. This is your moving piece, the little guy that moves along the map for you. And this is an inn. You only get to visit the inn once, but when you visit the inn, you get the chance to pick up either this guy or possibly another one, but mainly this guy is at the inn and he's a companion. You start off with your avatar and a deck of 10 cards, very similar to most of the deck building games that you've probably played. If you haven't played a deck building game, is where you start with a small deck and continuously build it up so that you get better cards as you go. Excuse me. Right. This is the deck of cards that makes up the supply deck, and these are the cards. Top 5 cards are put out, and you can buy them on your turn if you can. Right, very quickly, you start with, as I said, an avatar. He is placed here on your board, and you'll notice that there's a +1 blue there, blue being experience, so you immediately take 1 blue experience point and put it on there. You also gain 2 influence. Forgive me if I stop saying strength, influence, and experience and go to red, blue, and green, because it's going to be that much easier for me. Right, that's how you start off. Then, like most games, you draw 6 cards from your deck. I say most games; they generally seem to be 5 or 6 cards from your starter deck. A lot of these games start with 12 rather than 10 cards, so you get the first 6, and then you get the second 6, then you shuffle it all up and you're in a mixture again. In this case, you slightly different. You draw the top 6 and you look at what you get. So these daggers are giving me 2 red, 1 red each. The silver at the bottom is victory points, or are victory points, and you don't get those for starter deck cards. They are not worth anything at the end of the game, so you want to get rid of them, but not too quickly. Okay, so here we get 1, 2, 3, 4 wooden shields. Each shield gives me 1 green, 1 influence. So you do not take the influence tokens, though. You just count that as 4. You've got 2 already here, so that's 6. So you look over here, and what can you spend your 6 on? Well, you could buy another companion. The companion here costs 6, and he's going to be worth 4 victory points at the end of the game, and he'll give you a bonus on your cards. Or you can spend 3 on a flaming sword, who'll give you 1 victory point and 2 red every turn, every time it comes out, and even spend another 3 on an iron shield, which gives you 2 green. Now, at the start of the game, the green, the influence, is more important, so I'm going to spend 3 and take this card and put it on top of my deck. And I spent 3, so I will spend 3 cards that are worth 1 each. Try to save your... If you're going to have any over, make sure that what you have over are the tokens, not the cards. So, as soon as you draw a card from this display, you put another card up, and it's a tower shield this time, which gives you 2 victory points, but it's costing 4, and you haven't got 4 at the moment. I can save those, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to spend the card and the two tokens. I've dropped 2 tokens that I have, and buy the flaming sword, which also goes on there, and we flip over another card. Right. This is neither red nor green nor dark blue. It's a light blue, comes up with a light blue flag, and it's an event. At the end of the display there are 2 spaces, one for events and one for emotions. So therefore light blue cards will either be events or emotions. You put the event there, and this one says that it's valid from the next player. So it will go all the way around. You won't get the advantage of it until... Well, actually, you won't get the advantage of it for this turn, but you'll get it for when the next player has their turn. Right. Because we've left a space again, we draw another card. And it's come up as another companion, though not a particularly good one, but companions are always helpful, or usually helpful. Right. So that would be the end of my turn, roughly, unless I wanted to go on the journey, start the journey. Now, I should have said that at the beginning of the game, you need to place your inn. The inn can be placed anywhere up to the 9th space on here, but you're better off in your first games getting it fairly close to the start. So we'll put it on that one for now, right at the start. You'll notice that there are 2 rows, the top row and the bottom row. There are paths which allow you to go between the rows, but you can never travel backwards unless you're forced backwards, in which case you go back to the space you left, not going back to another space you hadn't done. So these are adventures where you're going to gain things like on here. You need 1 experience to be able to go onto this space, which we start with 1 experience, so that's not a problem. And you need, you'll be given, once you conquer this space, you'll be given 1 red and 1 green token. So if I'm going to go on that journey, I decide that I'm going to go that journey, I'll flip this card over, and it shows a monster. Now, all the creatures on these cards are the same at the moment, same as everybody's starting piece. Looks the same. This is a prototype, almost ready for release game. So I'm imagining that there's going to be slightly different art for everybody, or different for everybody. Monsters will be different. Right, now I've turned this over, which means I have to take this journey. I don't have to take it now, but I can't change my mind later on and decide to go this way instead. I've turned this over, I have to go this way. Now it needs a red and a green. Now at the moment I don't have a red and a green because I've spent them. Therefore, I'm there, I can't go to the inn, and I can't meet this companion. That's a nuisance. Right, now, he's a special companion for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you for why in a moment. First off then, so we go, we've done all that, we spent everything, goes on to the next player, comes back round to me, which says when it goes to the next player, this would come into hand, and each player gets 1 additional influence, additional power, and additional experience at the beginning of their turn. Then this would be discarded. So I get 1 of each of these tokens, which is very nice to start with, because that gave me that there. I also get 2 green, because that's what he gives me every turn. Now, the cards that I spent last time and the cards that I gained go on to the deck, and you reshuffle this deck. Now, obviously, I'm trying to do this one-handed, not very easy, and I want to get the review, don't want it to go wrong. So you shuffle this deck up again, and you draw 6 more cards. Let's just take them as they come. 3, 4, 5, 6. And you sort them out so you can see what you've got again. Right. Now, we've got 2 reds again, plus 1 is 3. Sorry, plus 1 is 3. We've got 4 green again, plus 3 is 7. This gives us a chance. We can go there, spend 1 red and 1 green. So we'll spend 1 red and 1 green to defeat this creature. Put him out of the way, you've got him, you've beaten him. That gives me a red and a green as a bonus. It also puts me in the inn. Now when I'm in the inn, I could buy stuff over here, but I can spend 6 green to buy a companion. Now, I may have got this wrong, but my understanding of the game is that if I spend those 3 and those 3 to buy this particular companion, he immediately joins me on my quest, because I've just picked him up at the inn. But he's the only one I can get there, and now the inn is gone for me. I can't go back to it. He brings with him 1 blue, as it says on there, and 2 red, which automatically and immediately come on there. So this leaves me something to spend on here if I want to. The only thing I'm more likely going to spend is this 1 red card to buy a 1 red creature. Creatures are there, you get 3 of those, they're worth bonus points at the end of the game. Turn that over, and we're back to start. And that's basically it. You carry along. When one person gets to the Titan's Arch or the Citadel, the game ends. That's the Citadel plus 5 Citadel, not the Citadel below it. The game ends. And the first person that gets the bonus of 5 or 15, as it says on the board, victory points. You then toss up all the victory points you've collected during the game, and your cards will have victory points at the bottom of them, etc. And anything else you've collected with victory points. And that's it. The winner is the player with the most victory points. Do I like the game? Yes, I like it. It's because it's got different things in it to most of the deck building games. I like deck building games. I like the fact that instead of having to go through your deck completely and then reshuffle everything in, you reshuffle every turn, so you've always got a chance of getting a good card out, or getting back to where you started with not such a good card. This idea of travelling along here is, on the journey, makes it that little bit more interesting and a bit more fun. But I've had a couple of people say they felt they were going through the motions. I think you find that with most collectible card games or deck building games anyway, that there's nothing, not much you can do with it, except for you've got to decide your decisions are where you spend, where you spend and what you spend. As I say, try saving your tokens if you're not going to spend them out. Definitely save tokens, spend cards before you spend tokens. Right, a lot of this stuff over here, as I said, is that's expeditions, that's for one-player game. Commanders, that's for one-player game. Gold comes into it later. One thing I wasn't quite sure about, can't find it in the rules anywhere, is on these cards, it tells you in the top, or on the top part, on the bottom right, that tells you which number card or token, or what you want to call it, to go there. So that tells you like you would put a 2 there. The blue one tells you how much experience you need. The green and the red tell you what your bonus is going to be for beating, for getting there, for winning that. You flip it over and that tells you what you have to do to defeat that monster. That all makes sense. What I can't find out is anything to do with the gold. So I'm going to imagine that the gold numbers there are going to equate somehow to the gold over here and come into the game with either stretch goals or expansions. Right, that's it in a nutshell. Arkenshield. Oh, one last thing. The cards, it's called the Gates of Diane, and each card has got TGOT on it, which has been pointed out so many times means the Game of Thrones. It is not the Game of Thrones. It has nothing to do with the Game of Thrones. That's just a coincidence. Oh, good coincidence, bad coincidence, who knows. Right, I've taken up your time. I hope you enjoyed this quick, brief look through. I will be writing a text review to go with this on Games Gazette Online, and you should find it on the wonderful Board Game Geek. Thank you. Enjoy your gaming. Bye.